y'all,
Hey
this
guys.
is Nikki here. As you know, I'm the Associate Hair and Beauty Editor for Essence.com, and our good friend Sir John is here in the office today.
And gents.
Yes, taking time out of his busy schedule to come spruce me up a bit, because what girl doesn't like getting spruced up?
This is true.
So I need to know how you're going to zhuzh my face and make it look better than it does right now, because I'm kind of
I think
bare.
bare is good. Bare's not bad. But Nikki, what we're going to do today is we're going to make sure that we're going to stay on trend. We're going to do holographic eyes. So holographic eyes are super, super popular. They're one of the #1 Google searches at the moment. So this is something that's completely on trend. And this is a great way to cascade from summer into the fall and bring a little disco into the daytime.
And if you want like the how-to for any kind of makeup or beauty trend, this is the guy to get it from. So I'm super excited. I think we should just get into it.
Yeah, let's do it.
How are we going to start?
Cool, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start by sort of assessing her look. She already has foundation on, so we are going to jump into a place where we're just going to go straight into eyes, possibly into cheeks as well. And I'm going to make sure that the brows are on point. So go into the brow. Once you get your brows on, you always have a great reference point to where everything else needs to lay.
All right, cool. We were talking about this before we went live, but I don't want to call them struggle brows, but I have very teeny eyebrows. I've never waxed, never tweezed, never anything. Like, I've probably saved thousands of dollars in my lifetime by not having to get my eyebrows done.
And put it where you need to on shoes or something else.
Right, exactly. So what is like one universal tip for eyebrows that any of us can use?
One universal tip I would say for brows would be to not over tweeze. Make sure you don't remove too much hair. I'd rather have more hair than not enough to work with. That's one goal. Also, you can also stimulate your hair growth by using something like warm castor oil is really good, or even Rogaine foam. Rogaine foam from the drugstore, the same thing that grows guys' hair back. Mind you, obviously I don't use it. But Rogaine foam is really, really great to bring or stimulate the growth in your brows for over tweezing and things like that.
How long does it take for it to affect or to show?
I would say about 2 to 3 weeks, you'll start to see a difference, or you'll start to see an influx in hair in your brows, and you'll see that, hey, you know what, I can have a fuller brow in less time by allowing it to grow a bit more. But,
will they grow out all crazy?
No, you can keep it in shape, trim, use scissors and things like that.
Oh, man.
But I'm not sure if the girls at home know, but I'm Sir John. I've been in the business for a while. I'm a makeup artist, also a brand ambassador for L'Oreal Paris. And you probably know some of the work I'm working on recently, Lemonade, or some of any of the stuff I've done. But it's good to see you guys, good to be here, and we're going to be here for a little while. We're going to do holographic eyes. I'm going to show you how to bring a trend that's super popular on the runway and make it reality.
And this is perfect timing also, because Fashion Week is coming up.
Yeah, Fashion Week is coming up.
And you've got an event.
I do have an
during
event.
Fashion Week.
I'm actually doing a major masterclass in an art gallery installation in New York for New York Fashion Week. You can go to sirjohnofficial.com to learn more about it, and I'll talk to you more about the tricks and things you'll learn as we go on throughout the day. Cool. So I'm going to start. So I'm using a pencil, and I'm using a mechanical pencil. Something that has a really sharp point is always going to give you a really beautiful brow, because they're going to give you very short hair-like strokes. Okay? So we're going in there, we're filling in areas that aren't too saturated or too dense. But mind you, you don't need a lot of product, and the goal is to not give yourself too much product where you have a lot of hair. So if I have a lot of hair in this area, I'm not going to go and pencil too much away. And I'm not a big fan of using concealer around the brows. You know why? Because I feel like that's cheating. I feel like those are training wheels. I want you to get in there and have the confidence to just give yourself a beautiful brow without any training wheels.
So do you think to get it the most natural looking is just to use a mechanical pencil like this?
Yeah, a mechanical pencil, it's always great to set it with a powder as well, because sometimes a pencil can be waxy, sometimes a pencil can look too shiny. So setting your pencil with a powder or an eyeshadow is always a really nice dynamic to incorporate into your brow game.
And do you know any easy tricks for making sure that they actually look even? Because I know every day when I'm done with my brows, I look in the mirror and I go, let's see how even they are today. And 90% of the time, they're not.
So you know what? Your brows are supposed to be sisters. They're not twins. So you don't necessarily have to make them identical as long as they are going to the same party, if that makes sense.
That's a great analogy. Sisters, not twins. Remember that, ladies and gents.
Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I pencil them in a bit. I'm going to go in with a little brow gel and brush these babies up.
And if you're just tuning in, I'm here with Sir John,
Hey guys.
makeup guru, amazing guy all around. You know him for his work on Beyonce's Lemonade and countless other celebs. He is giving me a cool holographic eye look. Super trendy right now on YouTube and on the internet in general. If you want a quick and easy how-to for how to pull this off, you are at the right place. So we just finished my brows, or we're finishing my brows by setting them, and then we'll move to the next step.
So, if this is Facebook Live, this is super live right now, right? This is happening as we go. Where are you guys from? Tell me where you're tuning in from. I want to know, like, where you guys at your desk, you're at the mall, what's happening? Where are you guys from? And tell me a little bit about how you got to Essence.com's Facebook Live.
We're in New York, obviously.
Okay, cool. So the first thing we're going to do for eyes is we're going to give yourself a base. So a base, I like to use gel liners. I love gel liners or pot liners, anything that has that consistency where it's very fluid. You can manipulate the product really easily and it's super easy to use. So I'm going to use a gel eyeshadow in a color like a greenish color. So we're going to give holographic eyes. We're going back to this trend. Holographic eyes has everything to do with the 3D sensibility. So anything that looks three-dimensional, anything that takes on a different color, like a color spill nails are really popular right now. So oil spill eyes are going to be super prevalent as well. That's my prediction for fall. That's just what I think.
And I feel like this emerald green is perfect for fall too. Like, definitely has a cooler tone to it. What are your thoughts on like wearing dark makeup in the daytime? Because I feel like it's one of those beauty rules that isn't really a beauty rule, but we follow anyway.
Well, this is the thing. I feel like you can wear dark makeup in the daytime. Not so much dark makeup. You can wear a dark lip and a softer eye. You can do more of a statement eye and a softer lip. It's all about contrast. But for example, you're an influencer, so you're someone who possibly works in a very trendy office, in a trendy environment. So it's okay for her to wear a purple eyeliner to work. But if you're a minimalist at home and you work in an office that happens to be a law firm, or if you're a soccer mom, take a small piece of the trend and take it away. So I wouldn't do a purple eyeshadow, I would do a purple eyeliner. So I wouldn't do big plum eyes, maybe I might do a sheer tint on the lips, do you know? So it's always a way to translate the runway into reality, and that's the goal, that's what we're here for today, is to translate runway trends into something wearable. So we're gonna take this color, and this is on the back of my hand if you see, and this is gonna be the base for what we're gonna do. Close your eyes for me there. And by all means, if you feel like a certain type of brush isn't working for you, go and get a brush that speaks to what you're doing. So I'm using the synthetic brush, and this is going to deliver the product onto the eyes. I'm starting at the lash line. And the reason I started at the lashes is because it'll be easier to contain. So I can always pull back and use less as I go up. Open. And close again. So guys, I want you to come in here and I want to show you exactly what I'm doing. So zoom in. Can you come closer? So this is a really, really nice way to bring a little disco into the daytime, I think. And don't be afraid to use your fingers as well. When something isn't blending, your body heat will change your makeup. So your body heat will soften your concealer. Your body heat will change the texture of your eyeshadow. And it doesn't have to be really aggressive. You can softly use your fingers. A little rule of thumb is I always like to use the ring finger. The ring finger is the weakest finger you have, so it'll pick up the least amount of product. So are there any questions at home, guys? Tell me about what are you really feeling in terms of trends right now? What are some runway or reality trends that you guys see that you want to bring into your own makeup regime every day, but you just don't know how?
I have a question.
Yeah, talk to me.
You talked about using your finger to apply the shadow. What are the rules for using your hands to apply makeup? Which products should you be using your hands with or shouldn't be using, and why?
So honestly, anything that has a creamy nature, anything that is a little bit more emollient, when I say emollient, anything that has a water-based quality, is easier to blend with your fingers. So gel liners would be great, concealers, cream blushes, things like that. You can even use eye kohls. Eye kohls, the difference between an eye kohl and a regular pencil is that it's a bit waxier and you can blend it longer. So a lot of pencils these days they're tinted but they're waterproof, and you have maybe about 5 seconds before they dry down. But your body heat will change the texture of pencils and things like that. So right now we're using the first layer. So holographic eyes is all about layers of color. So we're doing the first layer, which happens to be like a marine, aquamarine, really beautiful for summer or for fall. And I mean, honestly, you can dial this up with a deep Merlot lip and a matte color, or you can just dial it down with a nude gloss.
What would you say are some of like the lip colors that are gonna work great, you know, specifically for us brown girls this fall? What goes best with our skin tones?
For fall, I would say plums are big. So plums are really, really big right now. And like, for example, I just got back from Europe. I was in Europe all summer, and I saw plums in different ways all over everywhere. But the way I would translate that trend to my girls here in New York and Harlem and Brooklyn would be to make sure that they bring home mattes. So find a really rich opaque color, but make sure it's a matte. Make sure it's super saturated, super dense, and it's a statement. So if you're gonna go for it, go for it. If you're not, I'd rather either see you commit all the way or not at all. I'm gonna show you something else too, what's really cool. So for example, these are L'Oreal Paris lip palette. Now this is the same lip palette I made with these guys. Like literally, these are colors that have done cool things with me and for myself. So for example, this is when Beyonce was the No Angel video. This is that color. This is Joan when she was on the red carpet for Givenchy last season. I mean, all these colors have such a emotional connection to me. I actually stayed in the labs and made this with these guys. I'm super happy about the product, and it'll be on shelves maybe in a couple days, I want to say.
So I mean, you've worked with so many people. How did you narrow down to that?
So what we did is I took my lipstick bag. I took about 70 different lipsticks. So all these different colors that I've had from maybe years ago when I was an assistant for Pat McGrath or Charlotte Tilbury till now, and then we just started to dissect them apart and see what made sense for the trends and what's happening now in media, and we came up with some cool colors, you know.
So Lisa is asking, what colors are good for dark-skinned women?
Lips, eyes. What's up, Lisa? Tell me this. What in terms of what feature are you talking about? Because I would give you a different prescription for lips than I would for eyes. So be more specific, my love.
What are good for lips?
What are good for lips in terms of what colors are really pretty for fall? I would say plums are really good. So if I was Lisa, if I was someone who was maybe like Serena Williams complexion, like this right here, and matte would be awesome. This would be my jam. If I was Alec Weck or like Naomi Campbell or Lupita, this would be beautiful. Or this purple would be beautiful. And honestly, I don't think there are any rules. I just want you to play. If you find a color that I really love, like for example, just say if you're a deeper complexion, but you love this pink, so just use a brown liner around the edges to sort of tone it or taper it down, and then you can make it your own and bring it home. But don't be afraid to embrace color. That's the goal. The goal is to play. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the eyes and show you. Close your eyes for me. So we're going to show you how to make this a little bit more three-dimensional. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a matte purple pigment, and this purple pigment is going to be something that I'm going to use to slightly contour the lid. When I say contour the lid, I don't want to contour with the crease. I want to do a three-point lid. So I want to be darker here, and lighter in the center. That's the goal. The goal is to be lighter in the center, darker here, and darker here. I'm going to show you exactly how to do that now. Can you guys hear me well?
Some people are saying they can't.
Can't hear me? Okay.
And if you're just tuning in, this is Nikki, hair and beauty editor for Essence.com. We're here with Sir John, who is demonstrating one of the hottest trends out right now, holographic eyes. And if you don't know who Sir John is, he's
Hey guys, what's up guys?
World-renowned makeup artist. He's worked with a ton of your favorite ladies, including Beyonce. If you loved pretty much every look she wore in the Lemonade film, you can think this guy here.
And not just Beyonce, guys, just to let
Yes,
you know a
who
little bit
else?
about us. Viola Davis from the Vanity Fair cover this fall, the Hollywood issue. Carly Gloss is a really good friend and also one of my clients as well. I've been rocking with Joan Smalls for years, Jordan Dunn. So these girls are all literally why I'm here and how I'm here. And I'm just trying to show you a little bit of how we do this every day, but at home. So right now we're doing holographic eyes. Holographic eyes are super popular on the runway, and I'm trying to show you how to make that your own for every day. The goal is we did a cream all over the eye. Now I'm taking a little bit of a purple matte, and I'm just going to contour the eyes there, and I'm going to slightly contour the eyes here.
So when you say contour, what exactly is that doing to the eye? What does that mean?
Good question. So when I say contour your eyes, I don't necessarily mean bring out your taupes and your browns and strobe and bake. I basically mean sculpting, creating a sense of dimension, creating a three-dimensional quality and the overall look and the feel of the makeup. So what I'm doing now is I want to make sure that her highlights are lighter and then her contours are receding. So this is a contour naturally in the face. So naturally, your eyes are going to be deeper here, but naturally, they're going to be a bit lighter here. So only thing I'm doing is mimicking where light falls on her face naturally. If that makes any sense. And then we're going to blend. So the first thing I want to do is make sure I deliver the product to the eyes, and then we'll blend away. So where are you guys from? Are you guys tuning in from anywhere in the Midwest? You guys are in New York, DC, Philly, Chicago? Where are you? How was everyone's summer?
Too short.
Too short. I mean, it was like practically invisible.
I feel like the leaves are going to start falling soon.
I'm so sad about that.
Yeah. Although I am excited, the thing I love about fall is going into like more fall-friendly makeup looks like the one you're doing now, and also fall fashion. And of course, we have Fashion Month coming up, which is, you know, all of the fashion weeks in New York, Milan, Paris. And you'll be here.
Yeah,
for Fashion Week.
I'll be here for Fashion Week for sure.
Yeah. You actually have a gallery happening on the 12th?
14th.
The 14th, I believe, which is really, I'm really excited because it sounds like it's going to be a cool, unique blend of art and beauty. Can you tell us more about that
Absolutely.
and what we can expect?
So, you know what? I've been a painter before I was a makeup artist. So this is all new, not new to me, but I've been doing this for a while. But literally since I was 6 years old, I've been in school for art and art history. So what I want to do is I want to show women how the two worlds run quite parallel. They're literally like one and the same. So if you see a master painter, if you see a beautiful oil painting, the way these people sort of approach the painting is the same way you or I approach a wing liner or a smoky eye. And I want to bring some of that into play and show you guys how the two worlds run parallel. But also a bit of technology. I want to show you new technology in the beauty space and things like that, and all beauty can sort of encompass as a whole. But the goal is honestly to think outside of the box and have an unorthodox view of what makeup can be.
I have a question that might be kind of silly.
No silly questions. No silly
You
questions.
talked about like always discovering like new technology within the the beauty industry.
Yeah.
Do makeup artists like even if you work with someone over and over, do you ever practice the looks before you apply them?
Honestly, can I be honest with you? I hate to say this, but I don't have the liberty of practicing anymore. I feel like I wish I did, because every time I leave my house, like these are champagne problems. I'm gonna say that to begin with, but champagne problems means like these are first world problems. But every time I do a job, it's the job. So every time I'm leaving my house to do a job, it's a cover, or it's an editorial, or it's a campaign, or it's a video. So I don't really get a chance to practice and play like I used to. I wish I could practice, but every time you do it, you got to hit the mark the first time, or it's bad.
What's your advice for artists who haven't reached that level of champagne problems left, who have the luxury of time and can, work on honing their craft before they reach the big leagues?
Honestly, I would say assist. So the only reason I'm here is because I was an assistant, and I was a good assistant. This is the thing. Whenever you're an assistant, they tell you to, assistants should be seen and not heard necessarily. They don't want to see you. They want to hear you. They want to make sure that you're doing your job effectively, but you have to go away. So I made sure that if I'm going to be not heard, I'm going to be the most effective in the background. I'm going to be diligent. I'm going to make sure I intuit everything this artist who I'm assisting needs in a way that no other person can do. So if if you make a need for yourself, there's no way you won't be relevant in any space, you know? So I would say assist, learn your goal, like learn the people who came before you, learn references, learn why Cleopatra's eye had an effect on Nefertiti's, and that also influenced Sophia Loren's wing liner in the 60s and Madonna's makeup in the 80s, and why I'm doing Beyonce's On the Run tour now. So if you know the references and if you know reference points, you'll be a great artist. You'll have a lot to contribute to a shoot or a set or whatever.
Cool. Who were or are some of your favorite painters?
Who are my favorite painters? I'm loving, I love guys of today. I'm loving the people who I'm working with today. For example, at this showcase, at this actual gallery event, before the masterclass. So there's going to be a gallery, and then everything will stop, and then the masterclass will start. But Donald Robertson, I love Donald Robertson. He's a really amazing fashion illustrator. Where he'll be here, he'll be working with him. Sarah Gala, she's a really amazing person, and she's a really amazing artist that inspired me for some of the stuff that I did for Lemonade. So all these different dynamics, they have, you can't just pick one. So it's almost like saying I love one seasoning, or I love one flavor. All these flavors create a nice mosaic, and you have a lot more to choose from when you're on set by yourself,
Cool.
So I'm gonna get back to this eye, and we're gonna start to make this a bit more impactful.
All right, I'm excited.
Okay, so I'm gonna use a plum liner at the moment. Eyes up for me. And don't be afraid to sweep away any excess at all. Do you guys have any questions for me?
So Fifi wanted to know what base you used before the eyeshadow.
Well, honestly, she woke up like this. So she already had really amazing skin, which saves my job. And honestly, if you spend more time with the skin, if you spend more time making sure that you have a holistic approach to your diet, or you have an anti-inflammatory diet, you won't have to use as much foundation. You won't have to use as much concealer. So that's what I say is drink more kale, like juice kale. It increases circulation and makes sure it speeds up the cell recovery process. Beta carotene from carrots is really great for radiance. And then a concealer or moisturizer or foundation helps,
So it starts with a good skincare.
It starts with your diet, honestly. It's all about the diet, babe.
So we have another question from Dion, who wants to know what colors are going to be in for the fall.
Hey, Dion. What's up, Dion? I would say that what colors are going to be in for the fall, oil spills. So anything that has the ability to sort of to morph into another color. So, an olive green with a hint of an antique gold, or possibly a navy blue with a hint of like a teal or mermaid aquatic in the center. So there's a going back and forth of things that can reflect light. Anything that can reflect light really well would be really nice for fall. Okay, cool. So turn this way. A nice one for me. Can you guys hear me? Can they hear me yet? I hope so.
I think we're good now.
Yeah?
So everyone wants to know where they can follow you.
You can follow me at Sir John Official on Instagram, but also you can check out Sir John Official, the website, or Instagram, Twitter. It's all the same. SIRJOHN it's my real name. I promise you. I didn't make it up because it's business either. My grandmother named me that in 1982. You okay? All right, cool.
I have another question.
Yeah, talk to me.
You obviously name dropped all the amazing women that you work with, Joan Smalls, the Carlys, Beyonce. How much does their outfit or their red carpet look play into the makeup that you apply?
Good question. So it has everything to do. It's less about me as a makeup artist, even though, we would all like to think it's all about us. But it's literally about, it's a family thing. So I look to the stylist. So we want to look to whoever's pulled the clothes, or what's the hair like, what's the lighting like. So all these different dynamics have such a play on what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. If you go in there and just say, I'm just going to do what I want to do, and this is my idea of what's going to be cool, and because it's trendy, you'll miss the mark, you'll fall flat, your client won't be happy. And it's not just necessarily about you, it's about you magnifying her presence that day,
And how much input does your actual canvas have with the makeup that you're applying?
All right, so my girls are usually very opinionated, I would say. Like, for example, Carly Kloss knows her face. She knows her face really well. I mean, models and actresses, and Beyonce is like a makeup artist, honestly, in her own head as well. They know so much about colors and products, and they know how they're going to be photographed and what the photograph is going to look like. But if you don't necessarily have that at home, practice. Make sure you know what works for you in photos, what works for you in a selfie. When, you ever been tagged in a photo and you're like, this doesn't even look like me, you know? Make sure you know your angles, know your lighting. Knowing that SPF is really bad to take a selfie with SPF because it flashes back at the camera. Making sure that you know that matte eyeshadows absorb light, so it's really good for a selfie. They're really good to hollow out your cheekbones. Make sure that your nose looks slimmer. And shimmery things reflect light. So if you want something to look a little bit more fuller or a little bit more volume, use your shimmer here. Make sure you stay away from the front of the face with shimmer because it looks oily and greasy, you know?
So Terry had a question. She wants to know, if you go this dark on the eyes, what would you suggest for the lip color?
For the lips color, we can do something so nude. We can honestly use a color that we just press into the lips to make it not so much of a moment, because the eyes are a moment now. So these eyes are a moment, so we're going to give the lips a backseat. But if this is nighttime, possibly we can do both if we want to. It depends on the customer, depends on the girl, depends on where she's going. But in this case, I'm going to make sure that we mute everything else down. One thing I might do, just to amp up the bit, is I might give her more of a cheekbone. So giving someone a cheekbone, giving someone a brow is always a nice accessory to a statement lip or a statement eye.
So everyone wants to know what color is the eyeliner you just put or you're putting on now.
The eyeliner is called, this happens to be, let's see here, what is it? This eyeliner is Silky Seam Liner by L'Oreal in Purple Purple, which is a really cool color, and it's completely waterproof. So in a second, this will not move. You can go swimming. I don't know if you guys know what it looks like outside, but can we show them how cool it is out here? So this is my view. This is what I'm looking at while we're doing makeup. So this doesn't necessarily feel like work. So like I said, you can go swimming with these eyeliners or anything. They're really, really impactful and they stay on all day. And I would usually do this a lot quicker, but I want to sit here with you guys and spend some time with you. So that's why I'm not just banging it out like boom, boom, boom.
And if you're just tuning in, I'm Nikki, the Associate Hair and Beauty Editor for Essence.com. We are having so much fun with Sir John today. He is just, when you think makeup,
Oh, that's sweet.
this
Thank
is the
you.
first person that I personally think of. He's responsible for making a lot of our favorite girls look amazing. Carly Kloss, Joan Smalls, Viola Davis, the Queen, Beyonce, many others. And we are doing a holographic eye look right now, which is trending.
3D eyes. 3D eyes are super popular on the runway. It's super easy to bring into your day routine. So this isn't something that is you have to commit to the look and be afraid to wear it. This is just as seamless as like a red matte lip that we know was proven and true for the last few years. So I'm going to go and show you guys a tip. So I'm taking moisturizer. I'm taking a little bit of water-based moisturizer, and this is going to be my makeup remover. This is what I'm going to use underneath the eyes to clean up anything that fell down. So for example, I want to fix this line here, honestly, because I don't want you guys to judge me and think I don't know how to blend. So mind you, we're going to take this and we're going to move any excess shadow here with our Q-tip. And so the reason I'm using a moisturizer is because it's so much softer than a makeup remover. It's a lot more gentle, should I say. And then it'll prep the eyes for the concealer I'm going to use after. You see how great, like, babe, you have good skin. Like,
Thank you.
You have good skin.
And could you just repeat the type of moisturizer you use to clean up?
It can be any water-based moisturizer.
Water-based,
Any
okay.
water-based moisturizer, something that's not too heavy, something that's not too greasy. I'm just using a milky moisturizer, turn this way, and then going in, eyes up for me, and removing any excess product here. And mind you guys, I would have worked a lot quicker, but like I said, for the sake of being here for Facebook and you guys, it's okay to take your time sometimes.
Yes, take your time.
I'm always in a business where we're always rushed. Like everything is like, you have no time, the girl, we need her now. Well, you have 15 minutes. So being able to take your time is like, it's like a luxury. Super, super luxury for me.
How often? So you probably say you can never take your time.
I just don't have that thing, you know. Maybe every once in a while when you're on set, maybe you're on a set for a photo shoot or something, it's easier because everything else, the lights are needing a second and this. But like if you're in someone's dressing room and she has to be at Stade de France in front of 80,000 people waiting for her to come on stage, you have no time.
Right.
You have like your own borrowed time.
How do you handle the pressure? Because you're obviously in high pressure situations all the time. I mean, like where you have to make someone look amazing in record time.
To be honest with you, I don't know. My personality. I grew up. I mean, in a situation where my mom is. Everyone in my family is from the Marines or Navy. So I don't have. I go when everything is crazy. I go down. Like I really zen out, in a way. I guess that's why I work with who I work with. But, and also I grew up in the fashion industry where you don't have. You're doing 70 shows a season. You're doing all this stuff and. You need to be zen because 3 girls are coming. They're pulling one out of your chair. You just don't have the liberty, the option to be any other way. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's gonna do what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. And I'll be looking back at it that night like, why did I stress out?
Right.
So right now I'm taking a violet eyeliner, a violet eyeshadow, and we're just gonna tap this baby right in the center of the lid. And the goal is to just give her a really 3-dimensional quality, like we said earlier. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about this masterclass that I'm doing on September 14th in New York.
I feel like we're getting a preview, like we're having our own little masterclass right now. I love it.
It's going to be cool. Close your eyes for me. It's a way for me to show you guys that makeup isn't just about applying an eyeshadow to an eye, or contouring, or highlighting your cheeks, or baking. But it is an art form, and it's a way to show people an unorthodox view of what makeup can be, how to hold brushes, how you manipulate product and eyeshadow. Your knowledge of color theory has everything to do with the shadows you pick out daily. And it doesn't just cascade into your makeup regime, but your wardrobe in your home as well,
When you say color theory, what do you mean?
Knowing that what colors work for and against each other. Knowing that, certain colors, everyone knows about color correcting eyeshadows and things like that, but there's a whole theory behind it, and why it works, how it works, and when it should work, Okay, cool. So now we're going to go and I'm going to warm up her crease a little bit.
Are there any, I know right now, obviously, we're doing the holographic eye, which is a trend right now, but are there any trends out there that you think are just ridiculous that we should steer away from?
Yeah, it's a few. There's a few trends that I feel like we can let go and die. Okay. And I'm going to say possibly the first trend may be, I think we should come away from baking so much and this need to over contour. So over contouring is on its way out, I would say. And the reason being is because, turn this way, I feel like, I was in England a couple months ago and I seen all these girls with contour colors that were so much deeper than their complexion, and it was alarming for me at least to see that. But so I'd rather see girls do more sculpting. Sculpting is different. Sculpting is working with what your mama gave you, but in a less aggressive way.
What are some of the biggest mistakes you see just everyday women make with their makeup?
Either not trying. I'd rather there's something to this. I'd rather see a girl try. Like I'd rather see a bad contour than to see someone with really, really dark circles and they didn't even care enough to cover it up.
Right.
That to me is just laziness, I'm trying to check. A faux pas I would say would be possibly something like also using a foundation that's too deep for your complexion, or not matching your foundation correctly, or using just the contour. Going overboard contouring is the biggest crime in my opinion.
We need to embrace our true self.
Yeah, embrace it. It's okay, and it's good to have the knowledge. I love that women are so educated in beauty and know exactly what they want to do, but you got to know when to pull back as well. You guys have any questions at home? So right now I'm going to take a little bit of a little concealer, and I'm taking a big fluffy brush. So the reason I'm using the eyeshadow brush for concealer is because of the fact that it'll buff it in, it'll make it look like it's no makeup there, and I'm going to hold the brush. I'll show you how to hold it. So a lot of people go and they do their makeup like this, but come back. See how far back I am with this brush? I'm going to go back even further. And so when I'm somewhere in here, it's so much more fluid, and I have a better grasp of where I want this paint to lay and how I want it to, so almost seem airbrushed on. So eyes up for me.
So a lot of people are wondering what's the best way to cover dark circles.
Best way to cover dark circles, turn this way for me, and chin down slightly. Best way to cover dark circles. I'm going to say the best way to cover dark circles would be with a warm concealer. Any kind of concealer with a warm undertone, like a peachy undertone, or possibly a you know, a peachy or golden undertone. Stay away from cool or yellow or concealers. So if it's a warmer concealer, it'll neutralize out any coolness here. So that's the goal. It's almost like color correcting, but not as aggressive.
How many shades lighter or darker should it be than your natural skin tone?
I feel like every woman should have 2 concealers. You know, you should have the one that's the closest to your complexion and the one that bumps you up just a bit enough to give you a little bit of faux lighting right in there, you know? And if you notice, guys, I don't have any brow highlight. I personally, if you look at any of the work I do, I don't believe it. I don't believe in it, brow highlighter so much. I just feel like it's a little dated. When I say brow highlight, I mean like the shimmery shadow there so much. Like, let that be skin. So you can be as smoky as you want to. Close your eyes for me. Smoky as you want to right here. But this should be touchable. That should be skin. That should be fresh. You know, so if anything, I'll take off any shadow there, just so it's more believable. That makes it more modern.
So we don't need to line our brows in concealer every
Nah,
morning.
not at all.
I feel like I see a lot of beauty bloggers do that. They they'll have their brows that look great, and then they'll have this weird white
film
on the outside of it.
And honestly, these are the years, the education years. So everyone's learning and everyone's trying new stuff, but come back, bring it back to basics, and you know, you'll realize that you don't necessarily need that because it's just an extra layer and it doesn't look realistic. And also, I want girls to have a little bit more of an editorial quality to their makeup. When I say editorial quality, it should look expensive.
That's what I love about this look is it looks expensive. It looks very editorial, but
I know I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that. I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that from someone, but
you could totally do this at home. That's what I love about this look.
Absolutely. And the reason that we're taking so much time with this, guys, because I know more people are coming in. I'm Sir John. I'm a makeup artist. I'm also a brand ambassador for L'Oreal Paris for a while. And we're working with Nikki Brown here, who happens to be my beautiful co-host. And we're doing, you have to see the view. So take a look at the view.
Yes.
We're down here at the, what is this building called?
We are at, we're at
Liberty Street, which
yeah,
is
Liberty
like
Street.
all the way downtown. If anyone knows Manhattan, this is way downtown. This is almost near the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
But we're having fun with makeup today. We're actually doing a very beautiful oil spill eye, which happens to be on trend, on that holographic eye trend. So you guys have holographic nails now, holographic lip gloss. Holographic eyes would be the best way to embrace that trend for the season.
Yes. Perfect for fall.
So Janora has a question. She wants to know the best tips for making your makeup last all day.
Good question. That's honestly, that's a tried and true. If no one else knows this, I've had to do this because, mind you, I just left tour. So I was on formation tour with Beyonce. Everyone knows that for a while. But we have to make sure that her makeup, she's dancing, she gives it all she has, she's having fun on stage or whatever that looks like. We need to make sure it stays on. My whole job, the reason I'm on tour, the reason I'm in every country and city with her is that I make sure that it's bulletproof. So the way I found that it works the best when we're on tour and you know, no matter if it's a hot climate, a warm climate, if it's muggy outside, it's duality. So making sure you're using cream eyeshadow and a powder eyeshadow, just like we did here. Using a cream foundation and a powder foundation on top of it. Possibly a cream blush and a powder blush on top of that. So, and then long wear lips, long wear eyeliners. I may even use a waterproof eyeliner as the complete base for my eyeshadow. So those are the dynamics that make everything last longer. You can almost go swimming, you know?
Yeah. Keep it sweatproof. What are your tips for women who like to wear makeup to the gym?
Do they exist?
I mean, listen, I don't know about y'all, but sometimes I go to the gym and women are on the Stairmaster with the full face of makeup because the gym is where people take all their selfies now, like their fitness selfies. Okay. So girls like, I need to be
I'm in the dark because I don't know this.
So first of all, should we be working out with makeup on?
Never. You should not work out with makeup.
Stop doing that.
Working out with makeup is almost like going to bed with makeup. When you go to bed with makeup, okay, just for example, when you're sleeping, your pores open and they're looking for oxygen. So they're bringing in anything they can that's around. So when you're in the gym, your pores dilate, they get bigger, your sweat glands open. So if all it has to do is ingest makeup or cosmetics or these foreign chemicals, it's just a recipe for disaster. A disastrous recipe for skin. It's not a good look.
So embrace the I woke up like this look.
It's a bad look. So if you're going to go to the gym, you need a little something. If you like, hey, some cute guy at the gym and I want to do a little something here. what you do is maybe a little concealer just to get rid of dark circles. Making sure it's a waterproof concealer. There are plenty of concealers that happen to be water resistant on the market nowadays. You can even use tinted eyeliner. I would love to see girls with tinted purple liner, tinted like blue liner or blue mascara and waterproof, and that's it. So anything you would do at the beach, you can do at the gym. If you can't do it for the beach, you shouldn't do it at the gym. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Does that make
makes
sense?
perfect
Okay.
sense.
So. So any other questions, guys?
So Chanel wants to know what's the difference between concealer and color corrector.
Chanel. Hi, Chanel. I'm going to say the difference between concealer and color corrector. There's a massive difference, actually. And color corrector is the peach or that purple or those blues and the lavender colors that we put on to get rid of discoloring around the lips, discoloring around the eyes, or a pimple or a bruise. So a concealer is strictly pure pigment that is in the same color as your complexion, and that's it. And it possibly maybe a bit more hydrating because it's around the ocular or the eye area. So when you're around the eyes, you want to make sure that you moisturize more, you're more gentle. The skin on your eyes is almost so thin, it's transparent. It's almost thinner than the skin on your lips. So make sure you really, really gently take care of your eyes. Take care of your eyes, guys. So we're almost done here, and I'm going to show you how to get the last little bit, the bippity boppity boop, on, which happens to be a little bit of glitter.
I'm always here for glitter. Always. It doesn't matter what time of day. It pumps your mood up too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bring a little disco into the daytime whenever you can. So I want to tell you guys one last time, not even one last time, but check out my website, sirjohnofficial.com. You can check me out on Instagram at sirjohnofficial. I'm having a major, massive art exhibit / beauty class in New York, September 14th. And it's going to be about how it's going to really provoke your visuals, make you think completely different about makeup, and then we're going to learn some stuff at the end. It's going to be a few supermodel hosts involved. We're going to drink some bubbly. We're going to have a good time.
I'm excited. So, Sir John, how do you take care of your own skin? Because you're traveling the world and constantly in different climates and different environments. How do you take care of yourself?
That's a good question. Honestly, I use rose oil, so I'm a huge fan of anything rose. So even though I'm a guy. Yeah, but I love rose scented anything. I'm wearing rose fragrance right now. I'm not sure if you know it. If you can smell it, it smells like rose. I love rose. So rose is a really great way to repair the skin. It's a really non-aggressive way. It's so old school too. I mean, rose. Honestly, essential rose oil has been around since like biblical times. But it repairs the skin, and honestly, I noticed that it speeds up my cell recovery process. So if I had a long night, if I was drinking, having too much fun, at an after party or whatever, rose oil sort of gets me back together. I drink a lot of water. I work out almost 6 days a week. So it's almost, I love to elevate the heart rate. So whenever you elevate your heart rate, you're going to get good skin because you're detoxing every single day, all the time.
I mean, so there's no magic formula. You just got to take care of yourself.
Yeah, take care of yourself. Preserve it. I mean, honestly, and know what works for you. Some things work for certain people, and I mean, I know some people who only use like cocoa butter. And I'm just not one of those people, but just knowing what works for yourself, and then also sticking to a formula. Stick to a formula, and try not to deviate from it too often, because your skin will erupt or it'll be a bit more temperamental when you're using so many different things. So I'm going to show you a really cool trick now. Right now, we're going to go and have a little fun with glitter. Which one do you like more? Do you like the pinkish one, or do you like the sea green? It's your call.
I'm gonna go with the sea green.
You're gonna go with the sea green?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. So,
Hope you guys are paying attention.
so mind you, glitter is so messy. It's like it'll be coming out of your pores for like 5 days. But we're gonna have a little fun here and apply this to the center of your eye.
What kind of brush are you using?
I'm using a short, stiff brush.
Okay.
And the reason I'm using a short, stiff brush is because I want to pack the color all directly onto the eye. If you're using a fluffy brush, so for example, I'll show you what a fluffy brush looks like. A fluffy brush will always make the shadow fall. So always deliver your eyeshadow with this brush and then blend with this. So a stiff brush to deposit the color, fluffy brush to make sure it dissipates and blends away. Can you guys hear me? Am I talking loud enough?
You're good now. So Mallory and Honey are wondering how you remove all of this at the end of the day.
I like oil makeup removers or a wipe. You know, jump in the shower, wash it. It's no rhyme or reason on how to remove it. If things are waterproof, then you might need definitely something that has an oil quality. Is that for me? And close. So if you notice, guys, I'm not. That's how we're gonna get our 3D holographic eye in there. I'm not using a ton of product. You don't need a lot of product, so I'm using a very minimal amount. So take a look here. And if anything, I'm gonna tap some of that away because I don't want any fallout on her face, you know? That is not the goal. And then we're gonna go and we're gonna tap the product directly on the ball of the eye. And so when you do that, this is where it starts to become three-dimensional. And this is our holograph eye for fall 16. Straight out of, honestly, you know what? I was inspired by Instagram, if anything, for this right here. I saw so many cool girls on Instagram using holographic eyes and lips and nails. And so oil spills are popular in fashion, but I think holographic eyes definitely came from the girls, came from you guys.
Is Instagram a huge source of inspiration for you? Like, are you constantly browsing and seeing what's out there?
It's a massive source of inspiration for us all, you know? Because you have to think about, like, look at Pinterest. Just Pinterest alone is such a visual, like, you know, feast of so much inspiration. For example, when I did the Met Ball a few years ago with Joan Smalls, you guys remember the purple lip for Met Ball we did?
Yes.
So Joan, she called me, she was like, hey, listen, I want to do a purple lip. I want it to look nice and expensive and not a cheap purple. And if you think about it, back a few years ago, no one was using purple lip. That wasn't something people were doing. That's why it was so, like, oh my gosh, she came to the red carpet in Vera Wang with a purple lip, but it was something that we chose. We chose the right color. Make sure you choose the right color for your complexion, even if you have to go back and forth. But yeah, we got that from Instagram. We were literally inspired by girls of, you know, on social.
Cool. And one more time, what's your Instagram if people want to follow?
My Instagram is SirJohnOfficial, SirJohnOfficial, SIRJOHN Official. And also SirJohnOfficial.com. I launched a new website for you guys. I think it's pretty cool. I've been working with it all summer while I was on vacation in Spain. And on there, you'll have more information about my masterclass as well. But I think that you're really going to come away with some really cool tips if you come check us out on September 14th in New York.
Yes. Get ready to see makeup and beauty in a whole different way.
A whole different way. And honestly, it's a multimedia event. So it's not just a class. It's not just a master class, but it's actually an event. And we have new ways of showcasing technology, virtual makeup mirrors. We have massive, huge artists in the art world who actually took my work. They took pieces of my work from my portfolio and interpreted it and made it their own, did oil paintings of it and all these other kind of things. So you see this huge archive of stuff, but you'll see how beauty and art run so parallel. The worlds are really similar. And hopefully you guys will walk away learning something.
And if you didn't know, Sir John was a painter.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
yeah.
This is...
I've been in school for art since I was 6 years old. Yeah, my mom used to draw on the walls, and she used to come home and like, you know what? Okay, I'm not gonna get mad. I'm gonna go buy canvas and thumbtack it to the wall. So the whole wall was like a mural, and she took those murals to an art school, and I got accepted, and so began the journey.
He's new to this. He's true to this. So.
I'm a little bit. I mean, I've been in the game for a while.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So I think this is where we're gonna land somewhere in this area, and then I want to give her a couple whacks of mascara and possibly a 3D cheek. I'm gonna show her how to make her cheeks a little bit more dimensional, and we're on her out of here. Do you guys have any questions about this eye so far? Would you have done it any differently?
Well, Alexis has a question about foundation in general. She wants to know how she can make her makeup stop creasing throughout the day.
How can she make her
Especially
makeup
under
stop
the eyes.
creasing? Okay, cool. So, makeup creasing. So basically, her concealer creases, I assume. If your makeup is creasing under the eye, it could be humidity. You could have too much on, possibly. So if you have a little bit too much on, it's going to oxidize, it's going to move. Try to make sure you find a mattifying moisturizer and use it around the face, even in the eye area, but that will help make sure your makeup stays on a lot longer as well. So mattifying moisturizer, a primer is great, but keeping your oil at bay in the skincare area first is going to make your makeup last so much longer. Yeah. So mascara, let's do mascara.
So one thing that a lot of people have told me is that we shouldn't pump our mascara. I feel like it's something we all do in the morning, especially when we've reached the end of our tube. Yeah. Is that true? Or does it not really matter?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. You shouldn't pump your mascara because they say you shouldn't pump your mascara because it will dry your mascara out. But I like a dry mascara because it gives me like rock star vibes. So a dry mascara is going to give you chunkier lashes. It's going to make you look not as perfect and clean and separated, but it does give you like a rocker, indie, Rihanna, Kate Moss kind of feel. That's what for me. And for my old school heads, like Tammy Faye Baker.
The clumps.
The clumps. So I'm going around with a little bit of loose powder before I use mascara, just to make sure that if the mascara touches underneath, I can clean it up fairly easy.
So in terms of the order, do we apply our eye look before everything else, or?
I do. So I always do eyes first. Look down for me, love. I do eyes first, and then I'll do mascara. I'll do foundation after, because what that does, all this shadow can fall down. You can be in a rush, and this all can land here, and then you clean your eyes up. You put your foundation, your concealer on, and then you're out the door. If you do a perfectly, beautifully applied foundation and concealer and contour, and then you do your eyes, you're in trouble. Because if anything falls down on it, it's just going to be a huge mistake.
So Jacqueline is wondering, what do you use to make small eyes look larger?
Small eyes look larger. What I like to do is, I like to bring out, necessarily turn this way for me. So for example, if your eyes start here, and just say even if you're just doing liner, bring out your liners longer. Wing out your shadow a bit more. Buff everything out to almost like an optical illusion. You're creating illusion. All this is basically, even if you're just putting mascara on, it's an optical illusion. So bring your eyeliner out longer, bring your shadows out longer, bring everything past the point of no return. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to curl your lashes and make sure that you do tons of mascara on the top. Maybe tons of mascara in the center as well. So the center mascara is going to give you a doe-eyed Bambi effect, which is going to make your eyes look big and bright. A ton of mascara on the sides is going to make them look very angular and feline. So that's a really good tip as well. You guys think I talk too much, don't you? Also, I think you can do is do a beige liner in the inside. Now, mind you, this is so 60s. This is so throwback to like Cher and Diana Ross. But using a beige liner in the inside of the eyes gives them a big, fresh, widening, awakened appearance. You know?
Is a white liner too much?
White liner is a little too aggressive and it's not as natural.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say, and honestly, if you want literally to go by in the 60s, if you want to bring that back, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I would say a beige liner is so much softer and it's easier, and people don't know what they're looking at. So if you do a beige liner, they're not gonna know they're looking at beige liner. They're just gonna think you have big, beautiful eyes. You know.
Yeah.
So lastly, we're gonna contour her up. I'm gonna show you how to do this in like 2 seconds because we don't like to spend a lot of time on anything here.
2-second contour. I'm here for it.
More like 3-minute contour.
Alright.
But you guys.
But something you can do at home.
Something super,
that's
super
totally
quick.
easy to do and you can do every day.
So I'm taking a foundation that's a little too dark for her. I'm using a cream foundation. And mind you, everyone does contouring differently. Everyone has that whole thing. But my version of contouring isn't necessarily as aggressive. It's not as literal. It's not as structured and like powdered here and afterward, because I don't work in a world that can fly. So in the world I'm in editorial and fashion and like, you know, when we're doing campaigns or the cover of Elle or anything, it needs to be soft, it needs to be natural, it needs to be believable, it needs to read as, you know, it needs to be aspirational. So the goal for your makeup should be aspirational. It shouldn't be cookie cutter. And everyone's face is shaped completely different, so there's no right way to do concealer or to do contouring. So I'm taking a bit of a fluffy brush and I'm buffing this color into her temples.
So K. Marie is wondering, do you always need to wear primer?
No, not at all, babe. Not at all. Honestly, that's just one step that you can get rid of whenever you can. It depends on your skin type too. Like if you have really excessively oily skin, you might want to pour a primer every once in a while. But if you don't and you have pretty normal skin, stay away from it. If it's summertime, I'm not going to use a primer because those layers make you sweat, you know? So we're going to go in here, right under the cheekbones as well. And if you notice, I'm using a blush brush. So why am I using such a fluffy brush to contour, right? It makes no sense. But in the long run, you'll have the most effortlessly applied contour around. And it looks almost like it's airbrushed on.
So we have another question from Joelle, who wants to know, do you recommend using fake lashes? And how do you make them work, especially when you're taking them off at night?
Yeah, all the time. I love fake lashes. It gives you, you know, I love options. So as long as we have options, I'm happy. Fake lashes are great for an event. So mind you, if you look at most of the work I do though, I don't use lashes a lot. Honestly, I'll do a complete smoky eye, and everyone's like on Instagram, well, why didn't you give her lashes? Because that's what made it, the eye look cheap, you know? So if you notice, I didn't do any shimmer here. This is a completely clean area. I keep the bone clean. That makes it look modern and anchored in the now. By not using any mascara, just using mascara and no lashes, that also makes it look more believable and fresh. So you can do a smoky eye like this. You can do glitter in the daytime, but get rid of your lashes. Don't do brow highlighter. You know, those sort of small intellectual changes make everything just seem a bit more approachable and more editorial in a sense, you know? If that makes sense to you guys. So now we're gonna go in there, we're gonna finish up this contour here.
And are you just applying to the middle of the cheek?
So basically, you see this little area where a lot of girls pierce right here? This is the start of the contour. So we're gonna start our contour here, and we're gonna bring it down somewhere in there. And I'm using a fluffy brush. And the reason I'm using a fluffy brush is because naturally, when you get a tan, when light hits the center of your face, it's so diffused, and that's how it should be. Now mind you, I'm not even done, and it looks like it's almost done to a certain extent. So if they snatched my girl now, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, let me blend this out. That's the world I live in, guys.
So Stacy is wondering, is it better to use cream contour or powder?
Both. And that's such a good question, Stacy. Hey, Stacy. What's up, babe? Where are you from, Stacy? So I would say it's definitely great to use both. The reason being is because it will not move. So that's when you have a seamless, bulletproof contour like we talked about earlier. And I'm using a cream first, but I'm going to set it with a powder. And I'm going to show you why I'm going to set it with a powder in 1 second. Turn this way. All the way, all the way, all the way.
So we shouldn't be afraid to mix our creams and powders.
No,
it's
not at
never
all.
one or the other.
It's a duality. So that duality, if you notice, I use cream eyeshadows and powder eyeshadows.
I feel like that definitely lends itself to the 3D look too that you created.
It's prismatic, you know, when you have those layers, when you create layering, and mind you, everyone doesn't have time to do this every day. So mind you, if you don't have time to do this every day, only thing I would do is maybe a purple liner or a glitter liner.
So you can wear this entire eye look, or you can break down certain aspects of it.
Absolutely.
And use just those.
So for example, I'm going to show you this really, turn this way. We're going to do, so if I don't want to do all of this, what I could do, look down for me, is I could just do a little bit of glitter liner. And for the girl who is like, I can't commit to that much shadow, just do a little bit of that and then run out the door. But it's almost, but you want to stay in the conversation. You want to be on trend. And there's so many ways to jump into this without having to commit to a full look. If that makes sense to you guys. And you can tell I'm a little bit like ADD because I can't finish the contour without giving her glitter liner, but it's okay. Okay, cool. So turn this way. So now we're going to finish up our contour. And I know people are like, oh, that's not enough product. That's not enough. But it is enough. Trust me. It's believable. It should be believable. It should look like she woke up like this.
Exactly.
Like if you have children at home and your kids are like, Mommy, I just fell. She can run out the door now and it can look believable. If you look at most of the contouring that's happened these days, it's not okay until the end.
Yeah.
Which is a whole different conversation, guys. But
Right.
we'll say that for some other time.
All right.
Okay. All right. Now, so I'm going to take my fingers, and anywhere I don't want to see any product, I'm just going to tap away lightly. So mind you, this is the softest contour we've seen in a little while. So I'm going to just make sure I move those lines. There are no lines here. I didn't start with a line. We're going to diffuse that away, and that's what makes it look elevated and aspirational. So now I'm going to show you how to use a little bit of powder to set this, and then we're basically done.
Cool. So speaking of powder, Rebecca wants to know for your brows, to use a pencil or a powder.
Hey, what's your name, Becca?
Rebecca.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi,
So,
Rebecca.
Rebecca, we talked about this earlier, and I'm glad you're tuning in now. Hi, I'm Sir John, and I think that you should use both. So the reason I use a pencil, the reason I use a pencil is because it gives you that shape, it gives you that definition. But I want to set the pencil with a powder because that's where you start to become, that duality makes it more believable. So the powder is going to give you that denseness that usually hair gives you, but the pencil is going to give you that shape, you know? So both. So invest in both, babe.
What are, for those who are new to makeup or just don't like wearing a lot, what would you say are 5 products that every girl should keep at home or in her purse?
5 products.
Yeah. Like those 5 core starter products.
So these are Bioreal, like desert island products.
Exactly.
Okay,
Desert
cool.
island products.
Okay, I'm gonna answer that in 1 second, but I want to show you a quick tip. So I'm using a powder. I'm using a grayish blush, so a matte gray blush. This is one of the biggest tips you can take away from me, is the fact that matte, cooler colors recede. So if you're looking to contour, never contour with bronzer. Bronzer will make things appear to go forward, where a cool matte color, i.e. a color like this, grayish tone, this grayish tone in the middle, will make something appear to go and fade into the back. So it'll make this look deeper. It makes this look slimmer. It makes the sockets look deeper. Sorry. And that's what you want. You want that coolness to take over because it's an optical illusion. So we're taking a little bit of that blush, the matte blush here, and we're going to set our contour with that. And this is going to be, you see, basically we're doing this whole contour with fluffy brushes. And this is how the same way I contour Beyonce, this is the same way I contour Joan Smalls, Carly, you know, Margot Robbie for the cover of Vogue in June, or any of my girls, this is the way we approach it, and it becomes a lot more believable. So when light hits her face, it's soft and it's diffused, and it looks expensive. I hate to say that again, but it looks like the clothes or the garment or the hair that she's wearing. All that needs to be in accordance, you know?
So we shouldn't be contouring with bronzer. We should be contouring with more matte.
With a matte cool shade. So,
matte cool
and that's
shades.
what's going to make everything recede and look a lot more sculpted. So sculpting, not contouring. So sculpting versus contouring. It's a massive difference, and somewhere in the middle, I want you guys to figure out which one is you. Which one are you? Are you the sculptor or are you the contourer?
Duly noted.
So now we're going to do, I think we're done basically. I don't want to do too much. I mean, the goal was to give her highlight her eyes. I'm not contouring the nose because I don't think she needs it. I love her nose.
I love it.
You know, I love my Jackson 5 nostrils too.
Okay.
And I think that we should embrace our differences, embrace what makes you unique in your own. There's no way that you want to be a cookie cutter of anyone else. I don't want to look like any girl on Instagram. I mean, if I were a girl. So I think that stay in that area where you can have a personalized approach to any trend that you decide to pick up.
I love that. I love your approach to makeup because I feel like the core of it all is just embracing, you know, what God gave you.
Yeah.
For sure.
And,
So,
and a lipstick helps.
Yeah.
And, you know, a
Oh,
lipstick
yeah.
will offer a little bit of confidence, but it has to be there in the beginning to, you know, exist anyway. So now we're going to give her a lip. So I'm going to finish with this with a soft lip, maybe a little bit of a tint. So mind you, this is a L'Oreal palette. I'm a brand ambassador for L'Oreal. I've been for a while. And this is a palette that I created with these guys maybe last summer, while I was filming Lemonade. I was going back to my hotel room and making sure these pots were like the same color that I picked, and it was a whole process.
he does it all, guys.
These are on shelves soon, and this is one of my favorite palettes because each one of these colors is a big job that I've done. So if you guys know my work, if you know anything that I've done, you can look at this and tell who wore this on the red carpet, who wore this in their video for their visual album, or who wore this, you know, to the CFDA Awards last year. So that's the kind of cool moment that we're having here. I designed the red palette and the pink palette as well. Can't wait for you guys to see them. I want you guys to come to my show. I'm doing a huge art gallery installation / masterclass September 14th in New York. Go to SirJohnOfficial.com, Sir John Official website, Sir John Official, the Facebook, Instagram, and check out more. Yeah.
And this event is merging art and beauty in a way that I personally haven't seen before. So if you want to see, you know, makeup, a different approach to makeup from someone who's been doing this for a very long time, you definitely want to be there. And again, SirJohnOfficial.com is where you can find more information about that, as well as his Instagram account, where he is always showing us, you know, his day in and day out of work and fun. And,
we have a good time.
yeah.
We have a good time. So mind you, so this is my lip bag. I have all these different lips. These have been like, you know, all the stuff here. And then we have this, but I decided on a really natural tone that we're gonna do here. And so look at me. We're just gonna go straight from the tube and and I'm gonna go for a really soft, neutral. I don't want these to be a statement. I just want them to be an accessory. When I say these, I mean her lips. I should give them a little bit of love. Lips are like, give me some love. So do you guys have any questions about me or career or how I got here or who I work with? If you have any questions and I'm not here, just check me out at SirJohnOfficial.com or SirJohnOfficial, the Instagram. Pull out for me. And take your fingers and then just tap it. There's no lip liner. There doesn't have to be perfection here. Come away from such perfect things. It's not modern. So we want to make sure that we bring you guys into the future, and everything that's anchored in the now happens to be really organic. I think that's it. We're done, yeah.
How do I look, guys? I haven't even looked in a mirror yet, but I trust that I look amazing. And now I have to go out for cocktails or something and show this off for sure. And again, this is an oil spill eye look. Super trendy right now. Everybody's rocking it. This is very runway to real life. So it looks like it required like a lot of time and like extra effort that you don't really need. Like it's super easy to do. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm gonna give you guys a cool hack. So I'm taking this matte lip color here. This is L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Gloss, and it has no oil. So this is the only way I can do this is if it didn't have oil. And I feel like her cheeks need a little bit of color, so I'm gonna take a bit of color here. And then we're gonna just warm up the cheeks with a little bit of cream blush. And not to make them literal, but just to stain the cheeks. Smile for me. So this is the apple, and then I just want to make them look like she's been laughing for a little while. Maybe brush a little bit into the hairline, gives you like some 70s Jerry Hall vibes. Iman, all those girls. Grace Jones. See the difference between that side of the face and this side? That's great, but this gives you just a little bit more character.
And I love that you're using products that we can totally just run to the store and buy ourselves.
This is for the pedestrian. This is for the girl who just wants to walk up on it and just grab it, go, who doesn't have a lot of time. If I can do this and I don't have a lot of time at home, I mean, mind you, this is a look. This is something that you want to do when you're going out. Now, it started out as something that was just super, super chill, but now we have a little bit of a look. So this way? Yeah, that's it. We're done.
Here I am. Thank you so much.
Give me 5. Thank you for having me. Give me
Thank you, Sir John,
for
for stopping by. Again, SirJohnOfficial.com. If you're going to be in town during New York Fashion Week on the 14th, he's doing an amazing gallery that sort of fuses art and makeup. Something you've never seen before. There'll be a master class. There'll be an art show.
It's an art show and a master class. So you're gonna get your master class in there. Everyone's like, I wanna to sit there and I wanna take notes. I wanna know how you got there. Know what to do. You're gonna know how to get a contract, how to keep a contract. I mean, how to get a campaign. Why you need an agent. Like all these things happen. My story is really unique. Everyone's story is unique, but I want to share more of that with you guys. September 14th. It's a beautiful gallery. It's filled with light, space. We're gonna have champagne. We're gonna have some supermodel hosts, and
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Essence Squad. Again, you'll be able to rewatch this on our Facebook page for those who miss it. But yeah,
I need to watch this on YouTube.
Yeah. And if you have any other questions for Sir John, hit him up on Instagram and check out his website.
Yeah,
and
sure.
we will see you next time.
Peace. Bye now.